And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here as we get ready for our fourth race of the season, our second season of the NNSCRA Hersheys Cup Series. Getting ready to go racing here today at Atlanta Motor Speedway, a high-speed, three-wide racing, D-shaped mile-and-a-half, and we are getting ready to see who is going to come out on top here and maybe join the likes of Kyle Matthews, Zachary Fitzwater, and Levi McIntyre for a spot in this season's chase for the championship. It's going to be 49 laps of racing here today. From what we saw in knockout qualifying, we are going to have some pretty hard but possibly clean racing, which means green flag pit stops could very well come into play in the outcome of this race. James Richardson, James Qualls, that's your front row. It's the second time this season James Qualls has started on the front row. He started on the pole 2 weeks ago. Rockingham UK starts in second to James Richardson, who picks up not only his first pole of the season, but the first pole of the season for Toyota. Behind them, JT Bryant, Holden Gluba making his first start of the season. Former winner in this series. We'll see if maybe Gluba can pick up second win of his career. Then you got Johnny Gardner there, making it two drivers from Joanna Atwood Motorsports starting in the top five, and then Jason Haywood also making his debut here today. One other driver also making their debut, Matthew Dalley in the 30. Let's get the command. There's the command to fire him up. We're going to get ready to go here. The pace car will peel off of pit road, and 42 cars will drive off behind him. The point standings coming into this race. Grayson Acavito right now is the points leader by 6 points over our Daytona 500 champ Kyle Matthews. Cody Lamas dropped to third after a hard lick last week at Las Vegas. Fourth in the stands is James Qualls. Fifth, Daniel Voiles. Sixth is Carson Scott. Seventh, Joshua Michaels. Eighth place, JT Bryant. Ninth is our pole sitter, James Richardson. And our defending champion, Anthony McCurry, is 10th in points. Now, the only driver in the top 10 in points that is locked into the chase is our Daytona 500 winner, Kyle Matthews. The other two drivers locked in the chase, Zachary Fitzwater comes into this race 11th in points, and last week's winner who went coast to coast at Las Vegas, Levi McIntyre, is 14th in the standings coming into today's event. So this should be a very interesting race. It looked like it was going to be fairly calm last week at Las Vegas based off of knockout Q. Looked the same here for this session in the knockout qualifying for Atlanta. Maybe it'll surprise us. Maybe we'll see quite a wreck fest again. We'll see, though, as James Richardson leads him down. James Qualls alongside of him. Let's find out who's going to win here today at Atlanta. The flagman's ready. The green flag's out. We're underway at Atlanta Motor Speedway. The inside line definitely going to be the preferred line there. And there you can see already James Qualls having to kind of bail out in order to make it into the corner. Loses first place, second place, third place. Now all the way back to fourth place battle with Michael Norman. Johnny Gardner looking for second underneath JT Bryant. All this going on behind the leader James Richardson, who will lead the field out of turn 4. And he will lead the first lap of the day at Atlanta. Got a four-way battle for second. Gardner moves by, takes the spot. JT now under fire from Matthew Dallio. Michael Norman there as well. So far this season, 3 races, 3 victories by veterans. No rookie has been able to get to victory lane yet. Right now, the highest competitor for that would be the current car. Currently scored in 4th, just barely got Michael Norman at the line. That's Matthew Dallio. Garrett Sidner right there as well. As far as the rookie points battle goes, Cole Baker in a very good situation at this current point in time because the 3 drivers that were trying to run him down for the points lead in the Rookie of the Year honors did not make this race. Garrett Sidner came into this race 5th in rookie points. That's the highest in rookie points behind Cole Baker, and he ended up making this race, so an opportunity for him, as well as Zach Rogers, Kyle Keith, to maybe try and reel Cole Baker in. They're hoping that 18 car has a hard luck race. Right now, the top 2 have broken away, Richardson and Gardner. Then you got Matthew Dallio in 3rd, battle for 4th. Michael Norman will take that spot, now battle for 5th. Garrett Sidner to the inside of JT Bryant. Here comes Jessica Shelton as well as Jason Haywood, Seth Cole. Seth Cole getting the final transfer spot into this race. Jessica Shelton, Sean Galligan, we ended up seeing both of them first and second on the leaderboard in the first segment of round 1 of qualifying. Neither one of them made it to the final round to try and qualify for the pole, but right now Shelton running strong in 6th, Galligan right now in 10th. Let's find our points leader, Grayson Acavito. Let's see where he's situated at this current point in time early on. Last time by was scored in 36, but it looks like he's picked up a number of spots since then. I'd say he's somewhere at least up to 31st place. He might be up inside the top 30 now, following Jake Baskinger, who started this race from dead last in the 59 car. This time by at the line was 33rd place is Grayson Acavito. You see a couple of other drivers back here that are running well in the point standings. Anthony McCurry, 10th in points, is defending champion of this series. Daniel Voiles there in the 26, and look at how James Qualls, who started on the outside of the front row, how far he has fallen back. Look at that, 70 car all the way back now to 41st, maybe going to lose that spot. He may cross the line dead last, only 7 laps after starting this race up in 2nd. Mentioned Daniel Voiles, 5th in the standings, and just up ahead of him, 2nd in the points, our Daytona 500 winner, Kyle Matthews, right now running, scored in 39th. Keep in mind, though, right now we have been able to go green for 8 laps. Things look like they're settling into a long green flag run. With that being the case, these drivers could be relying on pit strategy. There you see Levi McIntyre, 14th in points, went to victory lane last week at Las Vegas. Just ahead of him, Carson Scott, 6th in the point standings, right now scored in 30th. Acavito up to 29th now is our points leader. And how about Cody Lamas? He's like the only other driver in the top 5 we haven't documented yet. In the 78 car, he is, right now, scored in 10th. Cody was running well last week at Las Vegas before he was struck with a problem. If you call flipping and barrel rolling a problem, Cody Lamas right now, though, trying to come back from that. He lost the points lead after that hardship last week at Vegas, and now trying to battle back. And right at the moment, looking good, as he is currently ahead of the 2 drivers he's trying to get the points lead in 2nd place away from, Grayson Acavito and Kyle Matthews. Seth Cole trying to make the most of just barely making it into the show, right now in 8th. Meanwhile, up at the front, it's still James Richardson, but Johnny Gardner lost both 2nd and 3rd place to Matthew Dallio and Michael Norman. Seeing a lot of the RCR-oriented cars up here. The 27, the 30, the 3, but all 3 of them from 3 different teams. The 30's out of Srigley Motorsports, the 3 out of Michael Norman Motorsports, the 27 out of Joanna Atwood Motorsports. Right now, though, smooth sailing for the FedEx Toyota Camry of James Richardson. Richardson did race last season, did not find victory lane, though, when he drove the number 6 Ford Fusion for Roush Fenway Racing. But right now, that car looks really, really good. Out in clean air, hasn't had to battle anybody. Has enjoyed roughly about half a second between himself and now another battle for 2nd. Michael Norman goes by. How about Jason Haywood? Impressive run there for the rookie out of KAB Racing, who now slides by for 3rd place, and now that makes Haywood the highest running rookie. Matthew Dallio now the 2nd highest running, and then Garrett Sidner right there in the 5th position. So you got 3 rookies right up here in the top 5. Noticing another driver working his way up through the field. That's the 76, our winner from a couple of weeks ago at Rockingham, UK. Zachary Fitzwater now up into the 13th position. We documented Jessica Shelton. Well, her teammate Charles Sanford has now jumped up to 7th, and now he's starting to fight his way up here towards the top 5. Cody Lamas has already succeeded in doing so. He's trying to get up there to try and battle his teammate Richardson for the lead. And then how about William Brock right behind Charles Sanford there in that 15 car? Great run for him in the 9th position. His teammate Joshua Circuli made it into the 2nd round of qualifying, but failed to make it into the final round, and so the only representative for William Brock Motorsports is that 15 car here. So far, his rookie teammate Davey Johnson has failed to make a race. Battle for second. Cody Lamas charging to the front, and Charles Sanford seems to be following him there. Lamas to second, Sanford to third. It's now Joe Gibbs Racing first and second. We should be at some point getting close to the first round of green flag pit stops. So it'll be interesting to see when that begins. Right now, James Richardson leads the way. We're going to pause for just a second. We'll take a commercial break, and then we'll be right back to the action here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Lap number 18 about to be completed. Lap 19 begins, and James Richardson better look in his rearview mirror, because here comes Cody Lamas, Charles Sanford, William Brock, and for the first time today, Richardson's going to get a challenge for the lead. It's his teammate in the 78. Cody Lamas was denied a trip to victory lane a couple weeks ago at Rockingham, UK. Does not want to be denied today, but here comes Charles Sanford in the Los Angeles Angels Chevy. William Brock right there as well. 4 drivers fighting for the lead. And Garrett Sidner starting to reel them in to make it a 5-man fight. As these drivers continue to race amongst themselves from 6th place on back, they're single file. Hayward, Gardner, Fitzwater, Norman, and Galligan. That's going to allow them to start to catch up to these drivers. Couple laps away from halfway. Cody Lamas now leads the way. So far it's been all Toyota, and it's been all Joe Gibbs Racing. Richardson leading the first 18 laps, and now Cody Lamas taking over. Richardson's now dropped all the way back to the 5th position. So now Cody Lamas out in that clean air, showing the way, and now the battle on for second. William Brock looks to his left. There's Charles Sanford, side by side. Garrett Sidner now up to 4th. Richardson falls back to 5th. Then you got Haywood there. Matthew Dallio got kicked out of line, it looked like. He slipped back to 10th place now. And Charles Sanford finally is going to, well, not quite. I thought he was going to clear William Brock for second. Brock trying to battle back on the high side out of 4. And as these two continue to battle amongst themselves for the runner-up spot, that allows Cody Lamas to begin to open up some distance. Last time by was about half a second between himself and Charles Sanford. Cody Lamas may not want to hear the fact that Zachary Fitzwater, the guy that denied him his trip to victory lane a couple of weeks ago, is right now running in the 8th position, so he's not too far behind. He's going to have to make his way through a lot of good cars, though, to catch up to Cody Lamas. Maybe going to wait for the opportunity on green flag pit stops. That battle for second will not go away. William Brock drives it in hard, nearly slid up into Charles Sanford, and now has to actually give way to the 03 to keep the second position. That was close. William Brock nearly just about door banged Charles Sanford, and that could have lost the two of them a lot of momentum, maybe cost themselves a spot at a good finish. So, wise veteran move for William Brock, backing out of the throttle and giving up the spot at least for now. He'll try and regroup now to try and reel Sanford back in. Speaking of reeling in, Charles Sanford doing his darndest to reel in the Furniture Road Toyota Camry. Last time by about 3/10. This time, little less, about 2/10. So Charles Sanford is closing up the distance between himself and Cody Lamas. We could have another battle for the lead momentarily. So far, only one lead change among two drivers, two teammates. Richardson leading early, then Cody Lamas taking over. Sanford this time by. Let's see if the gap closed up at all time-wise. It was about 2.4. Now it's, or 0.24. Now it's 0.17. Boy, I can't seem to be able to figure out where to put that decimal point. So he closed it up by about 7/100ths that time, and he is right on the back bumper. He's brought William Brock along with him, so we've got a battle for the lead heating up once again. Right now, the highest running rookie is in 5th place. That's Jason Haywood. trying to take Rookie of the Race honor in his debut in the Hersheys Cup Series. And here comes Charles Sanford for the lead on Cody Lamas, but you can see the tire wear apparently kicking in there because Sanford had a little bit of difficulty in the entrance, especially into the middle of the corner. Now draws even on the exit of turn 2, and now into 3. Now the outside line doesn't find the grip, and Charles Sanford goes by and takes the top position. Now is able to slide up in front. And for the second time today, we have a lead change. Charles Sanford comes the third different leader. But for how long? Here comes the Aaron's Dream Machine to the bottom, William Brock. And there you see again, just like we saw Sanford when he tried to make the move on the inside before, William Brock got a little bit tight, it looked like, getting into turn 1. Uh-oh, pit stops perhaps? Yes, indeed. Pit stops taking place, and Cody Lamas is going to come in, nearly cutting off Charles Sanford. Here comes Richardson in, along with Haywood, Manuel Hartnett, Matthew Dalio. And that turns the lead over to the 15 of William Brock. Fitzwater now up to second. Brandon Gonzalez now up to third. And then I believe the only other cars that haven't pitted yet are Gluba, Citadino, and possibly Dylan Young. And now Brock is in, along with Fitzwater. Should see Brandon Gonzalez in momentarily. There he is. There's Gluba, there's Citadino, and there is Dylan Young. Those are the last of the cars to pit. So we're going to watch the 15 of William Brock and see where he comes out in relation to Charles Sanford and Cody Lamas. Those were the top 3 before this cycle of pit stops began. This is the only stop they'll have to make. They're good to go from here. Brock comes out. We're going to watch for the black 78 and the white and red 03 to see where William Brock comes out in relation to those two machines. And there's your answer. Cody Lamas around the outside, and Cody Lamas will cycle back to the lead. Sanford will be second, and Sean Galligan is up to third. The Lowe's Chevy, only his second start of the season, replacing Austin LaPlante, and he's up in the top 3. Lead cycles back, indeed, to Cody Lamas. Second place is Charles Sanford. Let's give at least as much of a rundown as we can. Sean Galligan's up to third. Fitzwater now to fourth. Fifth place, William Brock. Sixth is Garrett Sidner. Jason Haywood's in 7th. 8th, Emmanuel Hartnett. Where did he come from? 9th place, Matthew Dalio. And the pole sitter Richardson's back in 10th. 11th is Jessica Shelton. 12th place under contest. Grayson Acavito wants it and will take it. So the points leader is marching his way back up. 13th now is Dallas McIntosh. 14th, Michael Norman. 15th, Brandon Gonzalez. 16th, Zach Rogers. 17th is Ryan Madden. 18th, Seth Cole. 19th place is going to be Benjamin Miles, and completing your top 20 is J.T. Bryant. So Cody Lamas' team gets it done on pit road. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the same thing that happened at Rockingham, UK. I believe that Cody Lamas' team got the job done on pit road, got him out ahead of Zachary Fitzwater, and then it came down between those two in a battle in the closing stages. And we've actually got a couple of cars that are going to go a lap down. James Qualls, 42nd after starting on the outside of the front row. He is already a lap down. And Joshua Michaels, right now 41st, about to go down a lap as well, as the battle for the lead is about to heat up again. Charles Sanford has reeled Cody Lamas back in. And Sean Galligan's hoping these two are going to fight for the lead every single lap to allow him to try and reel in these two and make it a three-man fight potentially for the win. Everybody else is about 4.5 seconds back from Fitzwater and fourth on back through. Side by side for the lead, Lamas and Sanford. Who leads this lap? It'll be Charles Sanford on the bottom. So far this season, we have had 3 different winners. One of them was a Chevy, one of them was a Dodge Dart, one of them was a Ford Fusion. Toyota got their first pole of the season here today with James Richardson. They're looking for their first win of the season with Cody Lamas. Right now it is all Charles Sanford out in front, trying to become the second Retro Racing Enterprises car to go to victory lane In the first 4 races of the season, his teammate Kyle Matthews won the Daytona 500. Next car up ahead on the tail end of the lead lap is 40th place running Anthony McCrory, so apparently pit stops did not go well for a couple of drivers. Qualls, Michaels, McCrory all running way at the tail end, just ahead of the leaders. Michaels and Qualls are both down a lap already. And as everything is so spread out, Sean Galligan's actually lost some ground to the top 2. So unless Cody Lamas can find some speed and reel Charles Sanford back in, Sanford could be home free at this point. Unless some kind of a caution ends up coming out. Wouldn't be the first time. Kyle Matthews very happy we had a phantom caution back at Daytona. That ended up leading to a couple more yellow flags flying when he won the Daytona 500. Charles Sanford right now, I don't think he'd like to see a phantom caution, or any caution for that matter. The only thing he wants to see is the white flag waving, and he'll see that within the next 10 laps. Charles Sanford now about to catch Anthony McCrory. This is not going to be a good points day for that 61 Audi team out of Kyotech Motorsports, as McCrory came into this race 10th in the standings. And now Charles Sanford, a little bit of a bump there, coming out of turn 2 to the back straightaway, letting him know, hey, I'm here. I am a lead lap car. I am the leader. Please let me by. McCrory gave him the low side, but now McCrory's got to battle back to try and stay on the lead lap. Not certain how much purpose that's going to serve. It doesn't look like we're going to have a caution flag anytime soon. Cody Lamas may end up playing bridesmaid yet again. He has lost touch with Charles Sanford and now has 2 up-to-speed lap cars between himself and the 03. Sean Galligan may fall back into the clutches of the 4th and 5th place cars, who are starting to close in on him. So he's hoping these laps tick away quickly. Matthew Dalio and Emmanuel Hartnett 4th and 5th. They're roughly about maybe 1.7 seconds back behind Sean Galligan. Very quickly reeling him in. Jason Haywood, Zachary Fitzwater there as well. They could catch that 48 before this is over. This is actually a battle for position. This is for 40th place. Joshua Michaels and Anthony McCrory side by side with each other. Both former winners in this series, both not going to be finding their first win of Season 2 here today. Next car for Charles Sanford to encounter is the rookie Cole Baker. Tail end of the lead lap in 39th place. Sanford's got some pretty smooth sailing in front of him and behind him, though. And about a second and a half between himself and Cody Lamas. It just grew by another 0.2. So Charles Sanford just has to do 2 more things to win this race. 1, be careful getting around the drivers that are on the tail end of the lead lap. And 2, hope that everybody else minds their P's and Q's and a caution flag doesn't come out. We've been clean and green since the start of this race. We had a cycle of green flag pit stops around lap 30. And it looks like we're going to finish this race under the green flag. Over 2 seconds now, the gap between Charles Sanford and Cody Lamas. Next car that Sanford will encounter will be Tim Walsh in the 5, who's got some damage on the Kellogg Chevrolet. Daniel Voiles there as well. Not a good points day for the 26. There's a couple of drivers that came in running well in points that don't look like they're going to be leaving today with very solid points days. You got James Qualls, he's already a lap down, came in 4th in points. You got Daniel Voiles almost about to go a lap down. He's just barely on the tail end of the lead lap. He came in 5th in points, and then we've already documented Anthony McCrory, also a lap down, and 41st. He came in 10th in points. This time by 3 laps to go for the Los Angeles Angels Chevrolet. So far, no team has had 2 of their drivers go to victory lane this season. Fitzwater Australia Racing, Retro Racing Enterprises, and Young Motorsports all have 1 win apiece. But right now, Joshua Michaels, or make that Charles Sanford. Sorry, I was looking at the 10 car in the background there. Charles Sanford is en route to changing that. And in 4 races into the season, Retro Racing Enterprises could very well have 2 drivers locked into the chase for the championship. Charles Sanford last season, no victories. And you think about the seasons that he had in the now retired Snickers Cup Series, he was really good then. We're starting to see that old form of Charles Sanford come back here. Trying to get around Tim Walsh. Walsh doesn't want to give him the spot. If I'm Charles Sanford, I'd say, you know what? Heck with it. Take and keep yourself on the lead lap, because the white flag's displayed for Charles Sanford. See how hard he races that 5 car. He may not want to race him too hard. Right up on his back bumper. Whoa, and a little bit of contact right there between the two of them. Sanford going to go to the bottom lane, though. He will put Tim Walsh a lap down before they come to the checkered flag. As out of turn 4 for the final time, Charles Sanford is going to pick up his first win of the season, taking the checkered flag here today at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And he managed to drag race Daniel Voiles to the line, and Voiles will finish off the lead lap as well. Charles Sanford, really strong machine, started this race outside of the top 10, fought his way in, following in the tire tracks of Cody Lamas, then reeled in Lamas after the cycle of pit stops and never looked back. And Charles Sanford becomes the second driver from Retro Racing Enterprises to win this season. Cody Lamas, a bridesmaid yet again. His second place finish this season. How about Matthew Dallio and Jason Haywood? Both of them making their Hersheys Cup Series debut starts. They get 3rd and 5th. And Emmanuel Hartnett, nice run for that 97 car. The pit stops definitely helped him out, as he'll finish the day out in 4th. Zachary Fitzwater finishes in 6th. Sean Galligan in 7th. William Brock 8th. Brandon Gonzalez 9th. And Michael Norman will get the final top 10 position. Shelton Richardson, the pole sitter, finishes in 12th. McIntosh, points leader Acavito, and JT Bryant complete your top 15. How about a comeback story for Jake Baskinger? Started this race dead last, and he finishes the day out in the 16th position. Holden Gluba in his debut race for the season, 23rd place. As you look on further down at the remainder of the field, everyone finished the race, but look at some of these drivers where they finished. Levi McIntyre all the way down in 35th. Kyle Matthews 29th, 2 former winners this season. And then 6 drivers finished off the lead lap: Voiles, Walsh, Michaels, McCrory, Baker, and Qualls. So that will do it for today's race here at Atlanta. Great racing here today, clean and green from start to... And it was Charles Sanford who, after the green flag pit stops, definitely had the best long-run car. So, we have had 4 races, 4 different race winners, all of them veterans. And we have 4 different drivers now that are in the hunt to be in this season's chase for the championship. Thank you all so much for watching today's race from Atlanta Motor Speedway. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and become part of the crew today. We'll show you down through 42nd your full finish results from this race once again. Coming up next will be your rookie points and your overall point standings heading into next week. We're going short track racing at Bristol Motor Speedway, so that should be interesting. We'll see what goes on there at the Coliseum. Thank you all again so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.